Stupid! Stupid! Why the hell did I agree to this? She came down the stairs looking like $1,000,000. I had never seen her so sexy before. Ever. She was wearing a short black cocktail dress and black 5-inch stiletto-heeled black shoes. Her hair was gathered in a bun, framing her beautiful face. She was wearing a diamond necklace and long, dangling tone-on-tone earrings that I had bought for our first wedding anniversary. She looked like a movie star. Well, how do I look? Do you think he'll like it? Please, baby, don't do this. It's all on your conscience, Dave, all on your conscience. Don't you dare hang it on me, it's the only way. The doorbell rang. Well, Dave, aren't you going to answer the door? I took her hand. Please, Laura. She pulled her hand out of my grip. Open the door, Dave, now. I turned and walked slowly to the door. My head was in turmoil. I put my hand on the latch and looked back at her. She nodded at the door. Hello, Charles. Good evening, Dave. Are you sure you're okay with this? Laura appeared at my shoulder. Of course he's sure. Come in, Charles. Ooh, is it for me? Charles was her ex and was her boss. He was holding a bouquet of at least 24 red roses. He looked as elegant as she did and was dressed in a tuxedo and bow tie. Behind him in our driveway was a huge black limousine. Oh my God, Laura, you look amazing! Charles walked past me like I wasn't even there, leaning over to receive a kiss from my wife. She took the flowers and held them out to me. They're beautiful, Charles, thank you. Put these in a vase for me, sweetheart. He held it much longer, obscenely longer, and as I was about to protest, Laura threw an annihilating glare at me over his shoulder. I lowered my eyes. Yes, darling. I'll put them in water. I walked into the kitchen to find the vase under the sink, straining to hear whispers in the hallway behind me. I heard the clatter of her shoes on the wooden floor in the living room, and when I entered the room behind them carrying the vase of flowers, I desperately wanted to smash it against the back of Charles's head. Put the flowers on the table, sweetheart. They really are beautiful. Thank you so much, Charles. They pale before your beauty. I cringed at his comment. Well, thank you, she replied. Why was I so stupid? Why did I even agree to this? This was much, much harder than I thought it would be. Laura said, Don't wait, love. I might not be back until morning. What? Wait a minute. She turned on her heels and led Charles out into the hall by the hand. Then she opened the front door and looked me right in the eye as she rose up on her tiptoes and kissed Charles passionately, right in the open doorway with the lights on and any of the neighbors could see her. She sent me an air kiss and slammed the door shut, Charles walking her to the limo. I leaned back on the steps of my staircase in despair, wrapping my arms around my head. 2 weeks ago, I had been to a bachelor party with a few of my friends. Harry was getting married, and we had all decided to have a night out before he fell under his heel. Everything was going great, and we were all happy having a brilliant night. Bill had bought us all VIP tickets to a private booth at Killer Heels, a strip nightclub in town. We skipped the line and were escorted to our table. A bucket of chilled champagne was already waiting for us there, and we had a great view of the stage. A stunning young woman named Debbie said she would be our waitress for the evening, and if we needed anything, just ask. You mean what? Harry asked, raising an eyebrow, trying to be clever. Anything? She smiled back. He called out loudly, I bloody love it here. We each ordered a large drink and all squeezed into a booth when a vision of marvelous beauty stepped onto the middle of the stage and the announcer spoke. Tammy, a sweet, innocent 18-year-old girl, people, please don't give her a hard time. If you know what I mean by conveying my appreciation to her, Tammy. The crowd went wild, including us. She was stunning, and damn how she could move. She was turning her body in poses I could only dream that a woman could take that. As the night stretched on, we all got more and more rowdy and angry. Ian decided that a girl should dance on Harry's lap. Debbie replied, No problem, 50 pounds here on the seat or 100 pounds in the back room. Do you have one of the girls in mind? No, just any sexy one, please. And how about having her here first and then for all 5 of us in the back room? How much would that cost? You want a girl for each of us? 5 girls? Hell yes, Barry said. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm willing to spend the night watching strippers, but I have a nice woman at home and I'm not disrespecting her by cheating on her. I'll stay at the bar, okay? Ian wouldn't tolerate anything like that. Barry, don't be an asshole. Join us. A dancer came up to our table to dance for Harry, and she was gorgeous. She squeezed through us to get to him and danced for him. We got a great sight watching it, too. She fell into his lap. We could see she was just as turned on as he was. It was over all too quickly. Debbie came back. Okay, everything is arranged. We have 5 of our most beautiful girls waiting for you in room 3. You have 30 minutes for 700 pounds, 1,500 pounds for an hour. The girls will arrange anything else you may need for an extra charge. We all, with the exception of Barry, walked into the private room full of excitement. They didn't disappoint us. These girls were so amazing, so sexy. They surrounded us on all sides. Harry, as the groom, had an extra girl. My girlfriend had me so hard and I had never been so horny. These girls really knew their stuff. Soon I caught myself asking how much the extras cost. The night cost us about £1,000 each. Barry booked us all a cab home. Geez, mate, you don't know what you missed, that Tammy was crazy? Harry had 4 girls working him over at one point. Barry was still adamant that it was right not to participate. I piled home around 4 a.m. Laura was sound asleep in bed, and I slept on the couch where I collapsed. I woke up the next morning with a terrible hangover. Laura brought me a strong coffee and sat down next to me. Looks like you all had a good time. Wait, what are those marks on your neck? Hickeys, you have hickeys. What did you do? I put my hand up to my neck. What? You have hickeys. Take off your shirt. Let me see. Laura, don't be silly. Take it off now! I reluctantly stood up and undid the buttons. To my horror, my torso was covered in lipstick marks in the shape of kisses. I had another hickey just below my navel. You goddamn fucking bastard. The lacy blue thong fell out of my pocket as I tried to tell her I hadn't done anything. She looked at me with tears in her eyes and ran out of the room. I tried to follow, but my head was splitting and I heard the front door slam. So I lay down again, holding my head. At 5 p.m. I woke up still on the couch. Laura was still gone, so I called Barry. Damn it, buddy, what did we do last night? Don't ask Dave. I wasn't there, remember? I stayed away. But Harry's in big trouble. Shirley found out from her girlfriend who works at the bar there that you all had fun with strippers. Harry says the wedding might be canceled. Ah, bullshit! Damn it! Shirley's going to tell Laura. Oh, shit! Now, don't say I didn't warn you all. Your buddies were running your brains last night, buddy. I dialed Laura's number. Voicemail. I assumed she had been away all day and was really pissed at me, but she would forgive a drunken bachelor party, right? I waited a half hour and called again, still getting to voicemail. It was already 6 p.m. and she was nowhere to be seen. A horrible thought suddenly occurred to me and I ran upstairs to check her closet. Phew, she's still with me. I made myself a sandwich and coffee, turned on the TV, and waited. At 9 p.m., I heard a key turn in the door. Laura finally showed up. I ran up to the door to see if she was alone. She had 2 of her friends with her. Laura, can we talk? She held her palm out in front of her. Don't. She then squeezed past me and went up the stairs to our room, accompanied by her friends, leaving me in the hallway. I felt like a beaten dog. Half an hour later, her friend Jill came down. You hurt her badly, Dave. She trusted you. You screwed the strippers, for God's sake, the strippers. We did everything we could to calm her down, but she's seriously pissed at you. She might even leave you. Hell, what can I do? Tell me, what can I do? You should have thought of that last night. Jill and Francis went home, leaving Laura upstairs. I got up shortly after they left and knocked quietly on our door. Go away. Laura, please. Go away. Not today, Dave. Not now. Leave me alone. Please, Laura, we need to talk. Dave, back off now or I'll back off for good. Do you hear me? I had never heard her so angry. I left her alone and went downstairs. I heard her talking on the phone a few times and then went down to the kitchen. I stood in the kitchen doorway and she looked terrible. Her makeup was smeared all over her face. Her eyes were puffy. It was obvious that she had cried a lot. I mean a lot. She turned around with a glass of water in her hand and saw me standing there. I walked over to hug her and she threw the glass at me. It hit me and then shattered on the tiled floor. You shit on me, Dave. You shit on us, on our marriage. She ran back upstairs and that was the last thing I saw that night. I lay on the couch without sleep for most of the night. The next morning, I made bacon sandwiches and put them on the table. Then I poured myself some coffee and turned around to see Laura eating my breakfast. I smiled slightly, expecting another tirade, but none came. "Can we talk?" She nodded but didn't smile. But at least she wasn't yelling at me. It was the beginning of contact. "I'm sorry. I know you know what happened, and I'm really sorry I was so drunk. I know that's no excuse, but I was caught up in the moment, and I was drunk." She looked at me expecting more, but there was nothing more for me to say. I just stood there looking stupid. What else could I say? "Is that it? That's your whole excuse? You were drunk, so it's okay, isn't it?" She didn't say it with the anger I expected. She was disturbingly calm, asking me. That made me nervous. I still stood silent, looking at my feet. At least have the courage to look me in the eye and tell me you're sorry." I looked down at her. She was the love of my life, and I had ruined everything in one night with my buddies. At least Barry stayed faithful. At least he took care of his wife. At least he didn't shit on his vows. What could I say? I'm sorry. Sorry. Smart as hell. Sorry. Is that the best you can do? Laura, what can I say? I'm really sorry. This should never have happened. I promise it will never happen again. No, it definitely won't happen again. Again, she replied with a terrifying calmness. I've been talking to my friends all night, and we've come to a compromise. You owe me a debt. In fact, I'm going to pay you back next week. Anything at all. Please, Laura, I'm so sorry, anything. That was 2 weeks ago. I had agreed to let her go on a date with her old friend Charles. I was to accept whatever she did on the date as payback. If it was sex, I had to accept it as part of her date. This was the price of our moving forward. If it was just a kiss, cuddle, and dinner, that was the payback too. I prayed for the latter. Laura wouldn't let me near her for 2 weeks after my transgression. No sex, no hugs, just a kiss on the cheek. She kept hinting that she needed to save herself for a date. I hated the last 2 weeks passionately. I had been so stupid, and now I was paying for it. I watched Laura get into the limo through the salon window. Charles walked around to the other side and climbed in. Her limo door opened again, and my heart raced harder. Had she changed her mind and was coming back to me? The bell rang. I ran to the door. She stood there smiling at me as I spread my arms out to enclose her in my arms. She reached out and lowered her thong into my open palm. My jaw dropped open. She turned and walked away. I sit there worrying, rocking in my chair all night, waiting for her to come back. I can't sit still. I get up and walk to the window or go to the kitchen. My feet keep bouncing on my toes. I can't keep my hands still, and my mind is a complete mess. What is she doing? Is she going to fuck him? Of course she is. She gave me her thong. If that's not a clear sign of her intentions, what else is? It's my own stupid fault. It's the price I agreed to and have to pay. It's bloody stupid. I hear the sound of a car and rush back to the window, but it's not her. I turn on the TV again, trying to clear my mind of the dark thoughts, but visions of her in the limo fill my brain. I'm really hurting. It's unimaginable. My stomach twists into a knot, my head hurts, even my chest starts to heave with pain. There's the car again, and I rush to the window. Again, it's not her. It's 2 a.m., and I'm far from sleep. I pace around the house. I feel like banging my head against the walls. I pound my fist on the living room door and only do damage to my hand. Not the door, but at least it takes my mind off my thoughts for a minute. I see her lying on her back, taking him into her ready body, and tears come to my eyes. What have I done? I feel completely devastated inside. I don't know what to do with myself. All I can think about is her being had. Will she leave me? My whole body is trembling now, and I'm shaking, but not out of anger at her, but at myself for letting this happen. I am ashamed of myself for letting my wife down, and she is taking revenge on me with my consent. I actually gave this man my blessing to fuck my wife. I can feel the bile coming to my mouth, that taste that comes just before you vomit, but it doesn't come and relieve me of that feeling. I don't hate her for what she's doing tonight. It's my fault. I hate myself, and I must be punished if I want her back in my life. I've been so stupid, so stupid. Suddenly the taste of bile reappears, and I vomit into the bowl I took earlier. My stomach empties and I feel better for a minute until I see her face in my mind again, enjoying his body. Is she sleeping with him right now in the limo? Has he been touching her perfect body all night? My wife's perfect body? Will she still be mine if she comes home? I go to the bathroom and look at myself in the mirror, swiping the nauseating taste from my mouth. I see the jerk who let this happen tonight looking back at me. A stupid, stupid man who got carried away by circumstances and now has to pay for it. The key? Is that a lock? I run downstairs but stop halfway to see my wife at our door kissing her beau goodbye. My heart sinks even lower than I thought possible. Thank you for a wonderful night, Charles. Good night. She closes the door and turns to me. Oh, are you still awake? How could I sleep? It's 3:30 in the morning. Where have you been? As I ask this question, I think to myself, stupid question. She gives me what looks like a genuine smile and asks me, well, have you thought about my night? About how my date went? I nod dumbly, unable to get a word out. Let's go to the front room. I follow her like a puppy as she sits on the couch and looks down at me. You know what you have to do, don't you? I start to shake again, my arms and legs visibly showing it as I stand in front of her. Come on your knees. Get on your knees now. Please, Laura, please don't make me do this. Her outstretched finger touches my chin and she looks me in the eye. It's the price. Do it. My hands grasp her legs. They shake so hard it's hard to keep them in place. She leans back on the back of the couch. Lick it. That's the price of your deception. I try to pull away, but she holds my head. How badly do you want to keep what we once had, Dave? I push everything out of my head and lean back. I sit back down and shuddering taste her. Mayonnaise? She looks down at me and takes my head in her hands. Yes, it's mayonnaise. I had to see if you'd say yes. I had to see how far you would go to save our marriage. That Charles, he didn't fuck you? No, he didn't touch me. But... Laura put her finger to my lips and pulled a small bottle of mayonnaise out of her purse, holding it out to me. Shh. I had to see if you were sorry enough to let me do this tonight. We had a lovely dinner and Charles asked me to the dance. He wanted to fuck me and believe me, I was close to letting him. We planned it to teach you a lesson. I hope tonight was hell for you. You've put me through hell the last 2 weeks. I'll never forget your cheating. But in time, maybe I'll forgive you. I hope this has given you an idea of what I've been through. I thought you really did. I've been to hell and back tonight. I leaned back on my heels and the emotions of the night came rushing out. Barriers collapsed and I sobbed. We went to bed both broken. No kisses, no hugs, just slept. The next morning we talked like we had never talked before. I have learned my lesson and know that I will never cheat on this wonderful woman again, no matter what the temptation. We have a long way to go to get back to where we were, but I love this smart lady with all my heart, and I know she loves me. I plan to hang on to her until we are old and gray.